Today, I'll show you 5 ways to fix what's broken in your classroom management system without feeling like you have to scrap everything you've already built. Have you ever created a classroom management system that looks great on paper but completely fell apart in real life? Maybe your students are responding the way you expected them to. Maybe you find yourself repeating yourself 100 times a day and you start to feel like, is it me? Am I doing something wrong? If you have ever had that feeling or thought, I want you to stop right there. You are not failing. Your system just needs a reset, not a complete overhaul. Here are 5 steps to consider. Step number 1, reflect before the reset. Before tossing everything out, ask yourself, what's actually working? Even broken systems usually have parts that do their job. So here's an example. I found that my students were clear on completing and staying on task. Once they were done, I allowed them to retrieve a library book to keep them engaged. This became disruptive and distracting to the students who were actually still trying to complete their task within the allotted time. So, after reflecting, I realized I wanted to maintain a fast finisher activity, but it needed to be one that maintained a productive work environment. So here is the workaround. Students are to first follow the Check Your Work checklist. Then they are allowed to choose between an extension activity of the current lesson that can be done right at their seat, or they can complete a previously unfinished task, or choose a fluency activity from one of the tubs in a designated location. This created less disruptions, students remain engaged academically, and I am not constantly redirecting. So here's a reflection question to consider. Which part of your current system still supports my students? And which part is draining my energy? Teacher burnout often comes from trying to overhaul everything at once. Reflection helps you to make small intentional tweaks without overwhelming changes. Step number 2, identify the breakdown point. One of the most common pressure points is the transfer of your knowledge to your students' ability to perform independently. If students can't operate without your constant guidance, then your system is breaking down at its core. Ask yourself this: what scaffolds are in place to help my students to reach the learning objective? And if they get stuck, do they have the tools like strategies they can reference or anchor charts that are strategically placed around the room to work their way out of the problem instead of relying heavily on you? So here's a reflection question to consider. Is the breakdown about my expectations, my follow through, or my scaffolding for independence? Effective classroom management comes from diagnosing the problem, not blaming yourself. Step number 3, make a small, visible shift. Instead of tossing out the whole system, pick one visible change. For example, an immediate reward system I implemented is called teacher versus student. Initially, it was just a simple T chart, and I gave points to students when they were on task, engaged, or collaborating. But as I reflected, I realized the students didn't really understand why they were earning points. So here was my simple shift. I posted what behaviors earned points and made it visible. I also gave students options for rewards, which they voted on at the start of class. The activity was quick, but gave them a small outlet. I was willing to give up 5 minutes of instructional time for a more productive and well executed lesson. So here's a reflection question to consider. What is one change that you can make this week that students will notice right away? Step number 4, communicate the reset with transparency and confidence. Don't be afraid to humanize yourself. I might say something like this: class, after doing some thinking, I realized this system hasn't been working the way we need it to. I want to make a small change and I want to know how you feel about it. Being vulnerable and honest about what we can do better invites our students to do the same. It shows them that no one is perfect and even teachers make mistakes. Inviting them into the decision making process reinforces that the learning environment belongs to everyone. It's not just about what I want, it's about what works best for all of us. So here's a reflection question I want you to consider. How can I model growth for my students by owning this reset with transparency. Step number 5, give time and grace. After the reset, treat it as if it's the start of the new year. When teaching routines, allow rehearsal time. Often you'll know a system is working when your students are catching on, you feel lighter and more energized. But there may be a few who may need additional support. So factor in grace for everyone's adjustment. So here is a reflection question to consider. After this reset, what evidence will I look for to know that this system is working better? Sustainable classroom management comes from progress checks, patience, and consistency. You are not failing. You're learning, growing, and modeling exactly what we want our students to do, which is to reflect, adjust, and try again. So the next time a system feels broken, remember, you don't have to start over, just reset with intention. If this was helpful, hit the like button so more teachers can find strategies that actually work. And comment below which system in your classroom might need resetting right now. Check out the other videos in my classroom management series for more strategies to reduce burnout and enjoy teaching again. Thanks for watching.